As a self-loathing American of Irish descent, my leadership development plan could encompass several months. But in the next 6 minutes, I'm going to focus on two aspects where I'd like to improve as a leader and try to incorporate things we've learned over the last 10 weeks. This is General Al Gray. He was a 29th Commandant of the Marine Corps. Fun fact, he's the only Commandant to wear his camis in his official portrait. He's also the reason Marines can't wear warfighting uniforms out in town. Anyway, back to the topic at hand. He said, everything that gets done through people. People are a leader's why. They're our purpose, really, for what we do as leaders. They're on this journey of leadership. There's no final destination. The day we stop learning is really the day we die. I think leadership is about inspiring others into action. It's not about motivating them. By nature of our authority and billet positions, we have the ability to motivate. So how do we inspire them? I think leaders need to do two things to inspire. They need to engage in reflection, and then they need to engage in self-assessment. Throughout LPA, we've learned some tools and models such as Kolb's reflective cycle, which focuses on reflection, identifying new ideas, adaptation, and then doing it all again. We've also learned different theories like utilitarianism, duty theory, virtue theory, and care ethics. The key here is not to get wrapped up in the best theory, right? All models are imperfect. Some are useful. The key is to ensure we employ ethics and morality in our journey, whether it's from oaths, core values, faith, pure responsibility as a leader. Ethics requires reflection on our actions, and morality is articulating values. Oscar Wilde once said, morality, like art, starts with drawing a line someplace. I like to use Mark Twain to remind me to do right. He said, always do right, so gratify some and astonish the rest. I still fail from time to time, but that's a story for another day. Let's talk about where I want to improve in heuristics and biases and with my empathy. SMART goals, I think, are a great way to track progress, though they require reflection and refinement to make sure you stay on track. And the time-based or trackable portion of a SMART goal is tough on a journey that never ends. But here's my attempt to apply SMART goals to two areas where I'd like to improve as a leader. First, I'd like to avoid the pitfalls of heuristics and biases. My specific goal is to use judgment and critical thinking when possible as part of my decision making. I can measure this through reasonable expectations on my team, employing personnel within abilities to contribute, and then determine if my decision meets mission requirements. Did I fall back on my tendency for retrievability bias at any time? This is actionable if I employ systematic analysis through critical thinking, and realistic if I empower my subordinates and give up control to create leaders within the team, and trackable if I reflect, identify new ideas, and adapt. Ask, did heuristics and biases play into the decision, and were the decisions ethical and moral? Next, I need to learn empathy. I need to avoid the suck it up or embrace the suck mentality. Here, my specific goal is to employ empathy as a neutral data gathering tool to enable understanding of those I lead. I need to assess if empathy is lacking based on the level of trust my team has in me as a leader, whether or not others are inspired, and three, just the effectiveness of the team. I can action this by employing empathy barometers who are empowered to tell me my level of empathy is not the standard, and also engage in professional counseling, mentorship, or coaching. As long as I don't conflate empathy as a leader with a socialized mind's desire to be liked, and I mitigate my lack of empathy by filling that gap with my barometers, I can realistically achieve this goal. And I can track it through monthly check-ins with professional counselors, mentors, or coaches or advisors. This journey is never ending, right? As I said before, we always have to think there's something limited about us as we now stand. In other words, we're not there yet. So on this journey, my goal is to be a competent, humble, self-aware, knowledgeable, and empathetic leader who empowers subordinates and inspires them into action. A successful team is built on trust and driven by purpose. On this journey, I've come across a lot of good leaders and a lot of good examples, but Douglas S. Freeman kind of gave me Um, One of the things I use as the basis of what I focus on as a leader. And in 1949, he gave this speech at the Naval War College. Number one, I need to know my stuff. The difference between mediocrity and distinction in a profession is how you organize your time. He called this maximizing your scraps of time. Two, I want to strive to be a person of character, industry, fair play, and courage. And then finally, endeavor to take care of my people. This doesn't mean they're always going to be happy, but part of being a leader is ensuring they're ready and trained for the mission at hand.